Waterloo Region.
This is a powerful tool. One simple phone call and you can help to solve crime. I'm Nadia Matos. It was a fatal shooting, lack of information, and one of the most crime-ridden cities in North America that changed the face of policing forever. More than 42 years ago in Albuquerque, New Mexico, violent crimes detective Greg McAleese was investigating the killing of a young gas station attendant. With few details to go on, Detective McAleese appealed to the public for help, and this was the beginning of the Crime Stoppers program. He takes us back to his days as a police officer in New Mexico.
There was a lot of frustration on the part of the police officers that they weren't getting the support of the public. They felt as though the public had information about crime, but they weren't getting very much in the way of that information. And so really, as much as anything else, I started to analyze what the problem might be. And, you know, people don't understand that crime rates are usually driven by the community. It's not something where police departments have much in the way of impact on crime rates. It's the community that dictates how much crime they're willing to put up with. And so I started to take a look at why we weren't getting cooperation and came up with two major factors. One is the fact that people were afraid, and the second was that people basically were just apathetic. And so I designed Crime Stoppers basically to overcome those two problems. And for the apathetic, we would offer a cash reward. They're not huge, but they're nominal. But they're enough as a way of saying thank you for helping us solve a case. The information or the rewards were paid only upon the indictment of somebody, so we didn't have to wait to the conviction of somebody, and so we were able to get the rewards out into the community much faster than ordinary. For those people that were afraid of retaliation, I designed the program so that they could remain completely anonymous.
A tipster is given a code number. That code number is used throughout the investigative process. Once an arrest has been made, the tipster receives a cash reward. But the idea did face some skepticism.
So it was a brand new concept. So therefore you didn't have anything to base it upon. There's no track record of any other type of a program like this. And there was a lot of resistance from the senior commanders of the police department. I think more than anything else, they were just afraid of failure. And so for about 6 months, they kept pushing it away, giving me other assignments, you know, and basically just trying to tell me to go away quietly. And I wouldn't do it. I just continued to hound them until we got to the point where they agreed to try it. Catalyst for this was the murder of a gas station attendant by the name of Michael Carmen.
You even fronted some money for it.
Well, I did. I took some money out of my own pocket because, again, you know, I mean, I know money speaks. And but we were also able to get Horn Oil Station, which was the owner of the gas station where Michael worked. We were able to get them to donate $1,000. So, you know, it became something where when we solved that case so quickly, then an awful lot of the skepticism about this program went away.
The Crime Stoppers program promises to protect the anonymity of its callers, and the Supreme Court of Canada guarantees it. But why is anonymity so important?
It's critical. It's critical. Well, because you're not going to be able to spend the money if you're dead. And with some of these tipsters, they're very, very close to who they're informing on. and these are not nice people. The people that we're arresting as the result of Crime Stoppers tips, we're dealing with murderers, rapists, armed robbers, usually some very, very violent thieves. Crime Stoppers is especially effective in dealing with street crime, and so over time, the fact that not only do we offer anonymity, but we also are in a position where we back it up, where I tell people, listen, I'll go to jail rather before I'll give up your name.
And that's being challenged right now a lot of the times in different courts all over the place, right?
Well, they'll challenge it, but again, it's something where we have case law on our side. We've been able to, over 42 years, establish a substantial amount of case law that allows us to protect the identities of tipsters. Most of the time we never even know who they are. They're just a number. That's how we operate. We tell people, don't tell us who you are, just tell us what you know. And then at the end of the conversation, we'll give them a code number, and that becomes how we track the case through the investigative process.
The Crime Stoppers program is based on anonymity, and that's the most important part of our program, is ensuring that any tipster or any caller that is in contact with Crime Stoppers is guaranteed the anonymity.
Constable Daryl Paquette is the police coordinator for the Crime Stoppers program here in Waterloo Region. Paquette is responsible for handling all tips that are reported to the program. It is his responsibility to make sure that tipsters' anonymity is protected.
So the most important part is when we do receive information, again, is making sure that any information within that tip is sanitized to a point that we cannot identify the sex of the individual, the location, or the closeness to the people that they might be talking about. That's my primary function to do it, but at the same time, there's a responsibility on the tipster to ensure that they're not going around town and bragging to their friends that they've called into Crime Stoppers and has given information. The moment that you've done that, you've outed yourself, and we cannot protect you if you do that. So we try within every conversation with the tipster to ensure that they are aware of those rules, that they are not to speak to other people, they're not to be telling people that they've contacted Crime Stoppers, and to just not to identify themselves as anybody that is used the program. So to ensure tipster safety, our website now has included a tipster Bill of Rights. This Bill of Rights is kind of a standard that's been developed for all Crime Stopper programs. With this Bill of Rights, it kind of explains how the process of the tips work, what is expected when you provide information. So again, we'll highlight the areas that you're not going to be asked to go to court. We're not going to ask for your name. We're not going to ask for your phone number or any information that's going to identify you. So there's a number of things that are going to be there. Kind of gives the instructions and the basis of our program and what to expect when you do provide the information. When privilege or of anonymity will not exist is when we're looking in areas where our community members or our people are using the program to obstruct justice or to further a criminal activity. So providing information to Crime Stoppers to direct an investigation to go into another area because they may be the suspect, or using the program to utter threats against someone. And there's a variety of different criminal activity that can happen. But in those cases, we do let our tipsters know through this Bill of Rights that if you are going to use the program to commit a criminal offense or obstruct justice, then in those cases privilege will not exist and your identity can be found out. Now, that can cause some confusion with people because we do get often tipsters will call in and say, I'm not sure if this is happening, but I want to let you know. I'm hoping I'm not going to get anybody in trouble by giving their name, but that person looks like the person that you highlighted on your crime of the week. Those cases are fine. People are doing this of the goodness of their heart. they're doing it for the right reasons. They're not trying to mislead an investigation or giving us false information purposely. They're actively involved trying to help solve crime. When those cases happen, we often do tell them that provide us the information, and it'll be the police that will determine whether that information is accurate or not. And for the most part, if they're wrong, they were wrong. I mean, people don't really know if they were being investigated or if their names were supplied in the first place. But it just shows that your community members are active and watching and listening to what's happening in the community.
The following program is brought to you by Rogers Anyplace TV. Enjoy exclusive content for free. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com.
Hammer it. With a little hustle.
Let's get her running. Let's get her finished.
Everything's got to get sold, because if not, this place, it's not going to survive.
And a lot of muscle.
Does it burn rubber?
It will annihilate the tires off this thing.
Mike and his crew turn piles of rust
It's going to be good to see this thing back on the road.
into collectible car treasures.
Beautiful car, and it's going to a good home. It's going to make me cry.
Rust Valley Restorers. New episode Thursday at 10 on History.
Tuesday. Chef D takes you from the farm to the table with delicious meals made from locally sourced ingredients. At Home with Chef D on Rogers TV.
Sometimes it's hard to say goodbye to an old friend. But when you're saying farewell to your vehicle, Kidney Car makes it fast and easy. Just call or visit our website. We'll take any vehicle in any condition and give you a tax receipt for a minimum of $300. No headaches and no towing charges. It's the one-stop solution for getting rid of your unwanted vehicle in just a few short minutes. When your vehicles reach the end of the road, call us toll-free or visit kidneycar.ca.
TV Bingo is a really simple show. Obviously, 5 different games of bingo. And we are off. And of course, it's a major fundraiser for us, the Lions Club. And the monies for that bingo stay within the community that cards are purchased. So we do wonderful things with the profits from that particular bingo. 528. We have at least 5 winners every week, and we give away $3,000 every week.
More than 42 years ago, violent crime detective Greg McAleese created the Crime Stoppers program as a way to solve a murder case in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The program came to Canada in 1982 and first formed in Calgary. By the following year, Hamilton introduced the program to Ontario. Retired Toronto Star reporter Cal Miller played a vital role with the inception of Toronto's Crime Stoppers program.
Well, it was actually after Hamilton began their program. I was working for the Toronto Star, and the editors heard that they'd started Crime Stoppers in this city, and they suggested that I go over and find out what the program's all about.
And when you did, what did you think?
Well, it was an amazing story because it was the media, the police, and the community working together. And not only was it a good story, but it was also something that the Toronto Star could be involved in to help the community. And it was a story that introduced Crime Stoppers to Toronto. And one of the things that I did was call the police chief to get his reaction to what Hamilton was doing. And at that point, he told me that they were looking into the Crime Stoppers concept. And a few months later, he called and he said they're actually considering implementing a program, and invited me to be on the steering committee because I appeared to be someone who knew a little more than other people in the community. And that's how it all began. I was involved in the program right from the beginning in Toronto, and became a board member, was the representative of the paper on the board. And after my retirement, we moved from the Toronto area to Burlington, and I became involved in the Halton program, which I'm still involved in.
Miller has written 6 books, including Crime Stoppers, The Inside Story. This book is co-authored with Crime Stoppers founder Greg McAleese.
And it's really Greg's life on how he came to develop the program to solve a crime. He had a horrific homicide, and it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the program started. And he was a young detective. He'd only been on the police service for 3 years. But he was an investigator in the homicide department of the major crime section, as it was called then. And he made a commitment to the mom of this young murder victim, 20-year-old Michael Carmen, that he would solve the case.
Which is something you're told not to do.
Exactly. But I know how he felt, because it's a very emotional type of situation. He had sat with the victim who had been shot point blank with a very heavy gauge weapon, and watched him die. And that's
that has an imprint,
exactly. And I mean, you want to do something at that point, and he was caught up in that. And at the same time, he found out that it wasn't an easy case to solve.
Community engagement is a powerful tool in fighting crime. Crime Stoppers relies on its partnerships between the community, the media, and the police to be successful.
That success cycle is generated through awareness, and that's that's step number 1. And so, as a result, through the media, and whether it's traditional media or whether it's the new media, which is used substantially now by Crime Stoppers programs. But what will end up happening is that the public will be informed about a crime that has gone unsolved, or a fugitive that is still at large. And they'll be encouraged to respond to our request through the media, respond by giving us information. Now, when they give us the information, if it produces a case being solved or a fugitive being arrested, that ends up getting reported back to the media, because the media wants to know that their participation is important. That's one of the things that is extremely important in the relationship between Crime Stoppers and the media. We're a partnership.
Right.
And so from that point, when they report our successes, that creates awareness again, and that creates tips, that creates donations to the reward fund, that creates cases being solved, that creates arrests being made, that creates the report back to the media, and that's how Crime Stoppers is successful.
Find out what's trending. Join me, Aliyah Ali, as I explore Waterloo Region and beyond, looking for trendy ideas. #Trending, Thursdays at 7 p.m., only on Rogers TV.
My mother said we had to leave home. The communists were going to take my father away. If my parents were afraid, they didn't show us. But we would never forget our escape from Vietnam. We were lost.
What was your job in Vietnam?
University professor.
We had no home.
Do you have any family in Canada?
No, sir.
Nobody wanted us.
Welcome to Canada.
Canada chose us.
Canadians opened their borders, their homes, and their hearts to more than 100,000 refugees fleeing persecution after the Vietnam War.
We were home.
Wednesday.
Don't peel your potatoes. That's where all the potassium is.
Food personality Teresa Albert serves up a garden fresh, healthy breakfast. Breakfast at Rosehurst on Rogers TV.
Sweet Occasions is a TV show that is meant to inspire. It's a little thicker batter. And I'm here with Sweet Occasions to take the intimidation out of baking and really simplify and help people to, get their feet wet. I'm not afraid to make a mistake when I'm baking or have flour, proof out of the mixer when I'm baking. Baking is meant to be fun and to be enjoyed.
The Crime Stoppers program is a not-for-profit community-based charity. Since the program started, there are more than 1,700 Crime Stopper programs worldwide in 32 countries. The program's top cop reflects on the magnitude of Crime Stoppers.
Well, we've been going now for 42 years, which is a surprise. It's very surprising that we would have this kind of longevity until you begin to analyze why we are successful. And we're successful because of the hundreds of thousands of people who have volunteered to be on the boards of directors, the thousands of coordinators who have given their, dedication and their skill to being able to take tips and to actually work with other investigators in order to create crimes being solved. And so and the fact that the media has been involved all these years. It's very unusual, for the media to be, to stay focused on one particular program and to participate in that program for so many years. Because the media is changing all the time, the demographics change, blah, 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 blah. Management changes, and there's only a certain amount of time on TV or a certain amount of space in the newspaper or time on the radio to be able to publicize unsolved crimes. And so the fact that this has continued to be supported over all these years is probably the biggest surprise. I came out of the media. I used to be with the Associated Press before I became a cop. And I can tell you that I never could have foreseen that we'd still be going 40 years later.
Any of that experience that you took as a journalist that helped you in this endeavor?
Oh yeah, because I knew where all the skeletons were of all my other fellow journalists. So it was easier to be able to convince them to participate in the program.
Exactly.
Yeah, but seriously, the other thing is that I know what interests the media and how to present it. And these are important things. You have to be able to present this in a manner that is entertaining, but at the same time educating and is of interest to the public. And so if you do that, then this will work. But if you and one of the things that you have to be careful about is you can't become stale. You have to, it's like any other idea, you have to constantly be up to date, be willing to make adjustments and to continue the success. It's not easy. It's a real challenge to be able to do it. The countries that it would be great to have Crime Stoppers are those that are beset with tremendous crime issues as well as social issues.
Mexico, for example.
Mexico is a perfect example. Colombia, Central America, anything in South America, and in Asia, where I live. These are all things that are societal, and at the same time, they're also problems that we have from the standpoint of police procedures and the reliability and accountability of the police. So as a result, you know, countries that need this program the most are probably the most difficult to try to really get the program involved. I once had an interviewer say, well, how does it feel to be the man who has made more arrests or responsible for more arrests than any other cop in history?
How does it feel?
Overwhelming. I never thought of it that way because I've always looked at this as being a collective effort. Yeah, I got it started and have continued over the years in order to insist on keeping this within the basic structure of what we have. And also to strive for excellence with our programs. But to be honest with you, I look at this as being a collective effort from hundreds of thousands of people, and that's why this program has worked. It's just not me.
If you had to tell the community as to why this program works, as a pitch to the community, you were repitching it all over again.
Yeah.
How would you now pitch it with the perspective and the knowledge that you have?
I would simply say this: if you are tired of having a large amount of crime, of living in fear, of being worried about your children, the safety of your children, there is a weapon that you can use, and that is a telephone or a computer to be able to provide police with information on an anonymous basis and with the prospect of a cash reward. And that is by contacting Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers works. That's the simple fact of the matter. It works. A crime is being solved every 14 minutes somewhere in the world because of a tip to Crime Stoppers.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
What? There's people out there that don't know what Giovanni and me on Rogers TV is? Are you? When did they get out of their coma? I'm on TV, not the face. This show is